Can you hear me now? Yeah, I guess that's it. I'll increase it a bit. Okay, so I will work on rendering some texture. So it's gonna be simple texture. 4 pixels, 2 by 2, bottom up. From bottom, first pixel is gonna be red, then 1 pixel green, then on top row it's gonna be blue and white. And that's it, that's what we're gonna do. As I said, I'm not gonna talk too much, we'll just code it. I may talk a bit while coding. So that's it. Let me see if everything is okay. It looks okay. Excellent connection. I guess you can hear this. And let's go. So obviously we need to be in GL graphics because in here we will create a new renderer. So where's my renderer now? Searching fill renderer, go to definition. So that's the fill renderer. So this one is used for rendering the quotes. So it's definitely not an end product. It's just something that is going to, be temporarily used. But in the same manner, we will also create new renderer for textures. So I might as well copy this entire thing and just simply say it's a texture renderer. Okay, and so instead of color uniform location, let me think, do I want to maybe multiply with color or not? Not sure, but instead of color uniform location, I might say it's I'm gonna just say it's texture uniform location. And then what else do we need? We just need, I think it is, let's see something, let's check our manual pages. Do we have gen textures? So I need to reload it's L reload. GL gen textures. Center, I don't care. Why is this not working? Very disappointed. Very disappointed. So again, let's try to load up. Load SMGL gen textures. And why are you even offering it to me? So let's see, SM sleep. That works, but not GL gen textures. I think there's something wrong with I can always access it like this, GL gen textures. Okay, so let's see, it's returning GL wind, so I guess I need GL wind there. That's it. So search file, right? And it's GL graphics. This is where. So I need an identifier texture. GL wind texture ID. So I'm gonna have only one texture in the beginning. And let's see, program ID, vertex buffer ID, vertex array ID. I'm gonna generate a new vertex buffer and vertex array ID for this one. Then we have projection matrix uniform, rect definition uniform, texture uniform location, texture and texture ID, which I will just load some texture. We will also share very similar shaders, and that's it. So here I'm gonna call them texture renderer. In here we need another location, so that's gonna be, we need to send in texture coordinates. Back to text coord, and we will need to pass this texture coordinates out. So how do I want to do it? Out vec2, right? Yeah. Out vec2 v text coord. That's it. And in here, I guess this should be, I should keep it like in uniform, then out. I guess that's it. So I have in vec2 with text coord. In here I need to set the with text coord to be something. With text coord equals a text coord. Keep like this. So in here we will have it's not, we no longer use colors, so we use sampler 2D, and I can never be sure is it capital D or lowercase. I'll just use it for now like this, so we will see maybe later. And now I just need to change this to be texture from sampler on texture coordinates. I wonder if we have sampler 2D. Oh. Okay, that should be it as far as shaders are concerned. As far as shaders are concerned, that should be it. And I will initialize it, I guess. In the same way I initialized it here, so where do I start? Where do I start? I can start here. I will need vertices, I will need buffer data, I need everything from this. Here. Texture. Such as rename stuff. Cool. Change texture. Texture renderer, so it's no longer. Let's split this up so I can see the definition. the sampler. And then this should be sampler as well, and here I need to make it sampler. These are gonna be vertices P2, right? Vertices P2, and this one should be vertices P2 texture 2, because I will give them texture coordinates, so wherever I use them I should just rename them to be like that. That's it, there's no more. So top left, even though we have inverted in last session the epsilon coordinate here in this generation, and the coordinates for textures still stay the same. So top left will have this coordinate, then bottom left is obviously 0, 0. Back. And bottom right is 1, 0. Let me just align these thingies. And in here we have again top left 0, 1. Bottom right, which is 1, 0, right? And top right, which is 1, 1. And I want to make sure that they are correct. So, what's wrong? That's the tag here for this thing. Back. Go to end of this, append, comma, and delete something. Okay, I want to make sure we're correct. So, top left 0, 1, yes, bottom left 0, 0, bottom right 1, 0, top left again 0, 1, bottom right 1, 0, and top right is 1, 1. That seems correct. Okay. So we get the sampler uniform, right, definition, project. So these things stay the same, but the new, instead of color, we get the sampler, and we want to this back. Change till uniform, so that's sampler. Back the change till raw is texture. So here we generate texture array. So here we generate buffer, bind it, we upload the data. We have new vertices P2, P2T2, P2T2, and we give it a pointer, and this one is actually replaced with 4. This would be an ugly bug if I didn't notice it. So GL vertex, that looks fine. So it's false, 4 times size of float, 2, okay. So that's the attribute, and now, okay, that also looks okay. A certain OpenGL error, let's make this special. It looks okay, it looks okay for now. I hope it will work. Also want to give it a new function here. We will have a function sprite, right? Void draw sprite, GL draw sprite. Draw sprite int x, int y, and int with int me, int height. Okay, so I'm not currently offering us possibility to select the sprite. I'm just gonna draw that one texture, whatever the texture is gonna be on that location. So draw sprite. And these comments are super. I really don't need comments. These functions are clear enough. Comments will just introduce vertical space that's not needed here. Okay. And what was it? Graphics page, right, where I defined that. Function pointer. Okay, so I need to define a function pointer in here. GFX fn function pointer. Draw sprite. It is correct. This is correct, and now it's gonna be very good, very good. Draw sprite. Okay. The AI understands me. I forgot to maybe say, I don't remember if I said it, but I got the Copilot working again with, it was just a problem with my version of Node.js, that's why it didn't work. You can, if you hear some strange noises in the background, that's my kids. Actually, my daughter and a neighbor's daughter, they're playing together. Okay, this looks fine. So we're passing in the text code from here, which we get on layout location 1. We're passing that into here, and then we're taking a texture from sampler on that text code. Okay. Before I forget, the name of the function that destroys OpenGL, destroy GL graphics. I also want to destroy GL delete buffers, right? Texture renderer and GL delete vertex arrays. Again, from the texture render, thank you AI. And again, I want to delete the program. But why are you not taking the, okay. I need to press enter to take recommendation from this. There's another mode with the AI, so I switched it now to that mode, and I hope this one will be better. Multiple different client offset encodings buffer. This is not supported yet. I don't understand what that means. And while I'm here, we should also GL delete textures. So my recommendation from AI is, you see this. Now the recommendation comes as a grayed out text, while in the drop down I have a bunch of offers from LSP. So I like this more. I don't like that my AI recommendation also comes from in this drop down. This looks fine. I accept your recommendation because that's actually what I want to do. I want to delete the texture, and I'm doing that because but there is a texture. So I don't have that in the texture renderer. Maybe I should move it there. Maybe AI is right. So I have it in the main structure, geographics. Should I move it to texture renderer? I probably should, right? It makes perfect sense to be there in texture renderer. That's literally, is there any reason why it shouldn't be a part of that texture renderer in here? Well, technically I could have different renderers that will all use the same texture. Nah, that doesn't make sense. Does it need to be? Can it be in here? Yes, it can. So let's move it up here. And this and go back there. So now it's working. Okay. So I want to actually generate the texture. GL again textures. Thank you AI, and thank you AI. So we need to bind it again, and then he's copying this from somewhere. Want to do it like you want. So I'm gonna first I will create data array, and I said I want red, green, and in the next row, so that's gonna be, so the first pixel is the bottom left, and this is then gonna be top pixel, a top row, right? 5 to 55, okay, and then I will say GL text image 2D. So that is almost correct. Text image 2D and GL texture 2D. So, oh, I forgot what's the signature for the function. What's the signature for the function? I mean, they are explaining it to me here, but okay, so the next parameter is level. Then it's target. How do we want to save it inside graphics card? Then it's width and height. Then it's border color, which is always 0, and then we explain that we have RGB data as source data, G, and each component, red, green, and blue is unsigned byte, and we have obviously pointer to the data structure, right? That's how this works. So we are now uploading it, and we need to we will not use any kind of MIP mapping. For filters, we need to use nearest and nearest. For both min and mac, we will have only mac in this case, and we need to use nearest for that. We don't have a min, right? Never. Because the texture is always gonna get magnified. 16. I mean, even in the game that we're implementing, they're 16 by 16 textures, which are basically getting magnified to like 160 to 160 or something like that. You know, they are counting actually screen pixels for this, not the pixels that I have set up in the projection. Okay, so that we need to give them parameters, otherwise I saw that OpenGL doesn't want to. Yeah, it's gonna be, so min filter is nearest, gltext mark filter is nearest, and I want also wrap s clamp to border. No, I'm gonna use clamp to edge. Because if I have clamp to border, then I need to specify the border color. I think it's by default 0. But one other thing. Okay, textures. So what's the error condition here? Texture specify an array in which the generated texture names are stored. Returns and texture names in textures. There is no guarantee that the names for continue. However, it is guaranteed that none of the returned names was in use immediately before the call. The generated textures have no dimensionality. They assume the dimensionality of the texture target to which they are first bound. Texture names returned by call are not returned by subsequent unless they are first deleted with. What's the error? I guess there's no error. It's invalid. It's invalid value. This function will probably always succeed, so it won't return as something like -0 or something like that, right? So it will always succeed. So okay, let's see. We've generated the texture name. We bound it to texture 2D, then we uploaded the data, our 4 pixels, and let's make this clearly visible. So okay, that's it. Then we set the texture parameters. Do I miss something? Do I miss something? No, I want to unbind the texture. It's GL texture 2D0. Okay, that's it. I bound it, so the data is there. This one will kill anything if anything is wrong. One last thing for graphics API, draw texture is GL draw texture. Where's the graphics API defined? Files, graphics, draw sprite. Yeah, it's gonna be draw sprite. Change word, draw sprite. That looks fine. Let's draw sprite. Okay. We have that. Do we delete texture? We delete all the buffers in texture renderer and view renderer, and so since I did texture renderer first, let's make it first in here, and we delete the textures. Let's make this more readable. And the final thing, we obviously need to implement that GL draw sprite. Uh, okay, very similar to this. Gonna GL use program. Let's see, texture render, very good. GL, that's also correct. So X, Y, width and height. Then matrix. My daughter is being bad. She's doing something bad. Okay, so I want to bind 0 to sampler. You will see, because we're gonna use texture unit 0 for this, yes. GL active texture, GL texture 0. Actually, I think we need to specify this up here as well. I think it's best to specify it up here, because the text parameters are bound to the texture on a texture unit, right? And by default, it's texture 0, but I want to be explicit. I always like to be explicit. So for texture 0, for this texture on the unit 0, we want these parameters, right? And that's it. So obviously we need to bind the texture. And now we will bind vertex array, we will draw triangles. 6 vertices, yes, and bind, after that we bind the one thing we forgot to mention. We did mention, it's use program, and GL use program 0, so we don't use any more. Oh, okay, let's go. We use the program, we set the program to be the texture renderer. Then we get texture renderer, we pass in the rectangle definition. We specify that we want to that the sampler should sample from texture unit 0. Then we send in the projection matrix. We set the texture unit 0 to be our texture. We bind the vertex array. We draw two triangles basically with 6 vertices. And that's it. Our code should then be done. We bind vertex array, unbind the vertex array, and unbind program. And this is exactly what we do in here. Except that in here we're not binding texture unit, but we are setting the color. Oh, do you think this will work? Let's see soon. Scripts built, debug, Pacman. Oh, good, that is an error. A good, it's a lucky thing that I have this V error set, W error, because I didn't compile the proper shader here, right? So texture renderer program ID should be texture renderer, and it should be texture renderer vertex shader source and texture renderer fragment shader source, and then we are asserting everything correctly in here. Okay. And yeah, finally, I need to actually, I forgot to specify where's the game tick. Game tick. So instead of using this guy, I need to comment this now. It's good that this is. It's really helpful. I can immediately see where my warning is. Draw sprite, and it's just gonna be a game. Okay. I need to do it per buffer. Game state, yeah. Player pose 6, player pose epsilon, sprite width, sprite height. There's no color, my friend. Just this. Okay. And let's see. Oh, that's so bad. Illegal instruction core dumped. We will need to debug. Yeah. It's time to exercise a bit with GDB debugger. What is that? Do right? GDB Q build debug. Games Pac-Man. Why not auto completion here? Start. Layout next. Again. Where am I now? Here. Okay. So I think it's probably a problem with the init OpenGL graphics, right? Initialize GL graphics, right? So step into that and see what's happening. Enable, we set the matrix, we clear the OpenGL errors. We compile and link program. Field render. What's wrong? Search these things. Info local. Print GL graphics. Let's see, program ID, vertex array, projection matrix. Reg definition, color uniform, texture renderer. Projection matrix. What is rect projection? Just a second. Program fill renderer. Okay, fill renderer, program ID, vertex buffer, vertex array, projection matrix, uniform location. Found. Color uniform location is not found. Oh, it is. It's just 0. How interesting. Why is that 0? Next. Problem is somewhere. We're still in here, right? Okay, that's it. That's it. Vertex attribute pointer, bind vertex array 0. Okay, program ID works. Let's see. Is that the problem? Yeah. Okay, quit. That's the problem. So let's see why. We jump to G, right? Sampler uniform, but you see this? Do you see this? It's variable, correct variable name. Texture and that was all, I believe. Yes. Oh, so we said we want red, green, blue and white, but we have red, green, white and red. I know exactly why this happens, but there is some surprisingly little information about this on the internet. So I want to demonstrate issue directly. Somebody in the future, if he wants to see it. Okay. So the issue is because their OpenGL actually expects that the lines are padded, and I'm not sure by how many, but it's so there's 6 bytes in here, and he wants to see 8 bytes on each line, and he also obviously wants to see 8 bytes down there. Let's align it. And now we will get the correct colors. Yeah, so it's red, green, blue, and white. So this is OpenGL expects some kind of alignment to, I think it's to 8 bytes, I guess, or 4 bytes. And there's a function. There's always a function. GL pixel store. I think it's pixel store. Pixel store. Okay, yeah. Set pixel storage modes, right? Specifies the symbol. So we have 2 parameters for pixel store I. We have p name and param, and specify p name can be I'm looking for one which is called unpack alignment. Yes. So let's see what they say about it. Unpack alignment specifies the alignment requirements for the start of each pixel row in memory. The allowable values are 1, 2, and 4, and 8. And initial value, right, and range of valid values. So let's see what's the initial values for unpack alignment. It's 4. So he wants to see each pixel on a 4 byte boundary. That's strange. Just a second. Specifies the alignment requirement for the start of each pixel row. Okay, each pixel row. So each pixel row must be on a 4-byte binary, not pixel. Right? And we can give him a value of 1. It's GL. So if I go and remove this dd, so if I just compile this now, I will get that same problem, but then I can say GL pixel store GL unpack alignment 1, and I should probably, let's see another thing. What did I do now? I did a typo right. GL pixel store I'm back here. GL unpack alignment, and I want to see one other thing. GL pixel store. Name GL pixel store states pixel storage modes that affects the operation of subsequent GL read pixels as well as unpacking of texture patterns. So unpack attributes for loading stuff. I want to know, is this only for one? So did they say subsequent? So all the calls after this will have that alignment. And is there any? I want to GL get. I want to save it like, or should I just assume it's 4? GL get integer. Yeah, GL get integer. So I want to save it first, right? It's gonna be GL int unpack alignment and GL get integer v. And after I put the text, after I put the data, I want to restore the pack alignment, and that's it. Now I can do it again, and now I get the correct colors, right? So I have red, green, blue, and white. And what's important is that first pixel is always bottom left, right? So that's how OpenGL works. First pixel in memory is bottom left pixel in texture mapping, right? If we would, since I fixed that, we can see this only because in previous stream I fixed that, what was it, epsilon inversion pack that I had, but because without that we will see red in the first row from above, right? From top, red will be in the first row, red, green, blue, and white from top to bottom. But I do actually, even though my coordinate system goes from, top is positive down, right? From top is 0 and then bottom is 240. I actually do want to respect OpenGL's behavior for images, right? So I am mapping it in the coordinate system that OpenGL. I'm mapping textures in the coordinate system that OpenGL is expecting. So 0 is 0, 0 is bottom left corner of image, 1, 1 is top right corner of image. You could do it differently, but I think this is best for texture mapping, right? And then GL texture image to D, when he loads the data, first pixel in the data is the pixel that is it will be mapped to bottom left of target image space. Okay, let's see what this unpack alignment would be for us. I want to debug this part. So I have GDB somewhere in here, and I think I can just say break GL graphics H on line. What is it? Line 250. And continue. Run. That's it. And I want to go next and print the alignment. It's 4. So it's 4, right? Let's continue the program. It's cool that we can run it completely fine in debugging, right? So unpack alignment is 4. That's actually what the documentation said, right? They said its initial value is 4. At an ant. Ants in the house. Everything is waking up now. All the animals. I have a sparrow trapped in one of my what do you call them? Air tunnels. They entered from outside somewhere and they've built a nest and they have a baby sparrow. However, unfortunately for them, I had to close that hole because things were coming in from that. And I cannot get the baby out now. You can hear him in the background. I think when he comes out, I'll give him some food and some water. Sooner or later, he will need to come out. Yeah, pretty bad for little sparrow. Okay, sorry about that discretion. Somebody sees this. Okay. So that's it. I think the program is working nicely. We have some texture mapping. The colors are correctly displayed, and there is a everything is working. Happy for today. Quit and close this part, and now I'm gonna celebrate because now I will commit my git commit implement texture demo implement simple sprite. That's a good start, right? Push origin master. I'm getting used more and more to this Vim. I like it. It has its advantages. Obviously, the IDE is integrated development environments like CLI and so on. They have their own advantages, but I definitely see a charm in Vim. I still get confused a lot by the keyboard shortcuts. But I hope it will pay off. I hope I will get that muscle memory sooner or later and be much faster in coding and typing. Currently I have muscle memory for, normal stuff. Basically using arrow keys, right, for navigating around the code. So when I'm in this mode, I am using HJKL to navigate in code, right? But I have a thought like you need to go to the line above, right? And then I kind of break a bit because I want to go with my hand to right to catch the arrow, but then I break in my head and say, okay, no, you need to use K key, right? So that's why it's still slow for me, and it's kind of a mentally, it takes some mental power from me. So it's kind of there's some mental exhaustion with using this, but hopefully sooner or later I'll be much better in Vim. Just checking where we enable vertex type arrays here. Okay, and we have the we've bound it correctly, right? So no more fill renderers working here, right? So this is just demo code, right? This will completely change because as soon as I have that real sprite support where I can actually load sprites from bitmaps and then upload them to the GPU, we will very quickly go to the point where we say we don't want to use this kind of rendering anymore, and we will want to use batch renders. So this is not gonna stay like this. It's terrible code, right? Because there's a lot of repetition. It's not terrible, but it's a lot of repetition, right? So you're doing basically the same things for two different renderers, right? We can extract this code out and move some specific parts like this color uniform location somewhere else. But for now, it will serve the purpose. Let's see it one more time. You can see a game coming out from this. Yeah, I really like it. There's this small, sometimes I see small lag. I'm not sure if that's because of OBS or just my computer slow. But I should get some kind of warning that some frame. Oh yeah, on Windows when I was moving a window, there was a warning. So I guess there's no warning here because it's probably not blocking. What if I'm resizing? Yeah, okay, he's blocking when we're resizing. This still works properly. So now we're basically rendering at 4K resolution. So the game has, the world space is 320 by 240 units, and these units can be anything what I want, so I say they're pixels, right? But the system is projecting everything onto a much larger screen, I believe the game area where we actually render black this rectangles is about, so it's 2160 pixels high, a bit smaller probably because of the borders, and it's about 3000 pixels wide area, right? That's what we're rendering, right? And we're getting 60 frames per second here, which is just fine. I'm not expecting thousands of, you see the average frame rate was 59.743. That means that our game is much faster. You know, it's getting slowed down only because of that sleep, right? So if you would move this sleep away, let's see, platform sleep, if I move that away, then I need to also comment this, so will this now work for me? Yeah, it won't, because I need to save it first. Static void, come on, unused function is an error. Platform sleep used. Okay, the game will be much faster. Maybe it's interesting to see what was the average logic time. Let's see. I can measure that. That's better, right? So instead of measuring everything like we do here, we can just measure from here to here, right? I'm not measuring that in a minute. Okay, and total time, frame duration, so frame rate is frame count over get total time. Okay, I already have the data, right? So frame rate time. Yeah, here I'm counting totals, right? So, but we can also say, we can also say float average accumulated game time 0. And then I can say accumulated game time. That's correct. Frame end minus frame start. I was actually thinking about doing something wrong, and game frame rate is that's correct. So I think here float game frame duration, that's it. So now I will just add that in. I call this OPS because that's updates per second, right? Back. Replace frame. recommendation. Happy with this recommendation. Let's see now, right? So it should be fine. Okay, let's wait a bit. So there's enough data. Quit now. So we were playing games for 20 seconds. It's almost 20. So average FPS, but updates per second. So that's including the swap buffers could go. We could have like, if we would turn off that sleep, we would have probably about 756 frames per second on full HD resolution. That's really good. There is even better way to do it. So we are 10 times faster, 11 times faster in rendering, actual rendering, because I'm measuring the swap buffer, which will flash all the commands. You're 10 times faster there than in then what's our target frame rate, which is 60 frames per second, right? But we are in debug mode here. We're not building release build, right? So that's I believe really good. And let's push this up. I want to have this code there. Commit them. Addition, display additional statistics. Statistics. I like comments that sound imperative, like it was a command to do display additional statistics, please. But it's like a command, right? It's an imperative sentence, right? So I don't write comments, added code to display that displays additional statistics, right? So that could be, some people write like that, added code to display additional statistics. I always try to write commit messages which are imperative, like display additional statistics, right? So we've done that, right? Git push. Okay, I know there's also a plugin for there's always a plugin for Vim. So there's a plugin here like Git. You can go Git, and then we can't commit something. I don't understand. Check our branch, check our commit. Blame, reset hunk, preview hunk. What's that? Stage hunk, undo stage hunk. And then G. What's G? Warning, multiple something. Nothing happened, right? So GG, nothing happened. That's it for this stream. I will take a break and then return back to work here.